Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Everybody, live from New York in Harlem, it's the Ramble, and I'm Alex Bennett. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at that face on your screen, it's Lori Thompson. Hi, Lori.
Hello.
Hello. Or as I refer to you sometimes to people, my other wife.
Yes, your work wife, your radio wife.
Well, it was for years that the first human being I would see every morning was you.
Yeah, and here, because I called you,
you did call me every morning, didn't you?
Yeah.
To make sure I was awake. I was always awake, by the way, by the time you called me, usually.
You usually were,
She called me every morning, woke me up. That was the first voice I heard.
Yes.
Okay.
Then let's do it.
It's allergy season here.
Okay, that might be playing into it because my husband has horrible allergies. I do not, never have. But
no, but this year they say it's one of the worst allergy seasons ever. We're already up around 11.5 or something like that out of 12.
Oh, yeah, that's significant.
So you're constantly sniffling. Your eyes are burning.
Uh-huh.
It's wonderful. I'm fighting the trees.
Yeah, those elms, man, they're heavyweights.
Yeah, well, there are different there are different seasons. There's tree pollen, which I think is what is the problem now.
Uh-huh.
Then towards the end of the year, end of the season, like around August, it becomes grass.
Wow. Now, isn't that funny? Because even people with nut allergies, some can eat like shrub nuts, but not tree nuts. And that's, that is hilarious to me because it's like, you can't generalize.
Yeah, we can make a lot of jokes about nuts, but we won't.
We're too highbrow for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, my wife, lovely wife, sends you her best.
Oh, send her my best too. And it was, I got to thank you guys again, man. You were my connection to the real world that it would get better.
Well, I really was upset by it. Truly upset. More so than even Christy, because I hadn't seen Christy in a long time.
Yeah.
But I talk to every week.
Yeah.
And I talked to you once. You said, I got this lump in my neck. I'm going to go have it checked out. And they removed it. Okay. And I'm going, okay, it's a lump in her neck. Big deal.
So big.
Next thing we know, you're going through living hell with this, what I consider archaic form of cure called...
Yeah. The radiation is killer. It seems so innocuous when you're going through it.
I found, if you want my opinion, that you probably weren't being affected by the radiation. You were being affected by the chemotherapy,
which changes your whole ecology, your inner body ecology.
Yeah. It just goes crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because of all the weird side effects, when my mom had chemo, she'd always had short nails, and they grew like crazy. It looked like she had a constant, French.
It's like they think that this is something that is going to, correct the problem, and it really doesn't.
No, I think it just replaces the problem with another set of problems.
Well, I mean, what they're figuring is if they poison everything in your body, they're going to kill the malignancies.
Right.
And one of these days, we're going to learn how to just go after the malignancy.
Yeah, it's like tearing down the house to save the chimney.
And by the way, have you had any other signs that it's spread?
None so far. I'm just fatigued all the time. So this is another thing how chemo messes with you. And I went to the doctor and he said it's a thyroid thing. So I got like a tiny pill that will ideally address that. And I used to be amazed in the pickup line, the automotive pickup line at CVS, when they would hand a person like 8 envelopes. And I thought, man, I'm glad I just get one. Crazy pills. And it was, but now, I have to take about 3 things a day for a while. And
Yeah.
that's lower.
Yeah. So how many pills are you taking now?
I'm taking, let's see, I take, Paxil. You had some experience with Paxil, and it's just to keep your mood right.
That's a mood thing. It's a mood thing.
And then, but the others, Celebrex for pain, mild dose of Celebrex, and then I think that's it.
They were taking something for thyroid.
Yeah, but it seems like more because I'm not used to taking medication.
I think technically, wow, I'm taking 5 maybe a day.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to think that's too much.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I rethink my medications every week.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I take a pregabalin, which is Lyrica, a generic form of Lyrica.
Okay.
And every morning when I wake up, and for the first half a day, I'm lightheaded. And then all of a sudden it goes away because that's a strong pill, and it lasts at least 12, 18 hours before it starts to wane.
Yeah.
And so I know that pill, or some other pill I'm taking is causing me to be lightheaded a lot.
Yeah, and it's their interactions that can land you in the hospital. The interactions of medications. So
a lot of times, what doctors don't do? What? You make them a list of the pills you take, and then they don't really look at them. And then they prescribe something to you, and they don't care. They don't know about the interaction.
Oh, the interactions to me are what does you in. Yeah, I speak from personal experience. The interactions can be brutal.
Yeah.
And, when you think about it, when you and I remember, I was taking Zoloft, I think, and you were taking Paxil when we worked together on the radio show.
Yeah.
And think of the difference, Ben. It seems like everybody's taking a medication now because advertising was not allowed back then.
Well, advertising was not allowed, and doctors were a little more careful at what they prescribed.
Yeah. And I wonder sometimes if that's the zeal of the prescription of the pharmaceutical sales.
The argument I had about Paxil and Zoloft, and what were you taking? You were taking...
I'm taking Paxil now, Zoloft, but I've done the whole...
Yeah, but anyway, whatever you were taking, that really just masks the symptoms.
It does.
Rather than say, let's deal with your brain and what you're thinking and why you're getting depressed, instead of giving us a pill that does away with the depression. Because it does away with other things too,
Exactly. And the thing is, my, genealogy, there is so much suicide. My grandmother and at least 2 of her brothers, maybe a third one, not sure about that, committed suicide. And that's a very, very, what's the word? That's a very powerful statement when you grow up with that.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if that made me scared.
Well, if somebody is really bad, maybe you need to give them medicine. But I don't know if you needed Paxil or you needed anything like that, So you get depressed. Depression is good.
Yeah,
we tend to think of depression as being horrible, and really, it's kind of a way of vomiting up your problems.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. And my problem was I had trouble getting out of it when I was in it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't imagine getting out of it, and so that helped. Zoloft will help you there.
Well, it can help you, but still, you're not. If you remove it, it's kind of like they've got this new drug Ozempic, right?
Yeah.
And they suddenly found out people lost weight on Ozempic. They lose about 35 pounds. That's it. Mm-hmm. If you're really fat, that's a spit in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
But what happens is you take the Ozempic shots, right? You lose the weight. If you stop taking the Ozempic, guess what happens?
Boing.
Yeah, exactly. So why start the Ozempic in the first place? Why not learn to go on a meaningful diet for you?
Right.
I lost 60 pounds a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just watching your weight. You were always good when you made up your
Yeah.
mind. You could drop the
Well,
lbs.
I went down to about 185.
That's
Okay,
pretty slim
180.
for you
Yeah,
because you're tall.
yeah. Maybe too thin. But then I went and I had the prostate operation thing with the seeds and the radiation, and then other drugs they put me on, and I gained. I'm up about 220.
Uh-huh. Some of
Okay,
them will.
which is fine for me, but still I gained weight back because I went on other stuff. But I stopped also going on the low carbohydrate diet. So all these things combined, I lost that weight, and people can lose weight if they just, I mean, there's some people whose physical existence causes them to have weight gain. I mean,
Yeah.
there are people that are fat, but if you're going to be fat, then be good fat as opposed to bad fat. Go to the
Right.
good side rather than the bad side. You're never going to lose all that weight. I've had friends, spent their whole life trying to lose weight, and they
Yeah.
couldn't lose it because that was their body type.
Yeah. And I think as long as you address it, how it makes you feel, the medication. How
Mhm.
does this make me feel? And you got to pay a lot of attention, because some medications that quote fight depression will make you feel like weird in your jaw. That's
Yeah,
one that it was just like it was, and then some keep you up. You can't sleep on them, so
yeah.
then they put you on something for rest. I think trazodone is
Mhm.
effective they give it to you to sleep, but it also has a mildly antidepressive effect. I think I could probably live with just trazodone.
Well, there was somebody who sent me something about uh, 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 5 or 10 things to realize when you're 85, which I am.
Yeah.
And it said, don't have more than 5 doctors.
Yeah,
And I
oh wow.
counted them, and I have exactly 5.
Yeah, I
I
have
have my
4.
GP. I have my GP. I have my neurologist. I have my urologist. I have my
Okay.
hematologist. And then what's the other one? There was one other. There was one other, and I can't remember what.
Oncologist?
Huh?
Oncologist for your prostate?
Well, I don't see them anymore, but
Oh, right.
I think I came up with 5, but at least
And at what
4.
point does a person cease to be your doctor?
Well, I'm going to go to my doctor tomorrow for my yearly, and he's going to look at my blood and go, "You got a little kidney problems here. Let's send you to a kidney doctor." And I'm going to tell
Right.
him, "No,
It's a
that's
cycle.
it. That's it. I'm tired of this doctor merry-go-round that I'm
It's
on."
awful. Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, you're going to find stuff that's dangerous or
Hmm.
that's not up to par. Like my kidneys are a little off.
Yeah.
I have mild kidney dysfunction. You don't need to send me to the kidney doctor. I'm
No.
sorry. I'm
More
not.
water.
I'm not going. They wanted me to have another CT scan because of these nodes on my lungs. Now, one of the nodes has been there for 9 years, and
It's a veteran.
and it hasn't changed size in 9 years, and that's to be considered benign. I had another one that showed up, and it's maybe been there maybe 4 years, and it hasn't grown in size, although it is a kind that is never considered malignant. Okay,
Cool.
and it also never is considered malignant, and if they grow double, triple, quadruple in size, it doesn't matter.
Really?
It's not dangerous.
That's wild. I didn't know that about tumors. I thought
No,
they had
no,
one.
no, no. This was a node,
Oh,
not
okay.
tumor. Node.
Do nodes
So
have
now
tumor
my doctor
activation?
sends me a thing saying you should go get another CT scan, and I didn't go. I have to see him tomorrow. He's probably going to yell at me about it. I didn't go because I went. How many times a year? How many times in a couple of years do I have to have a CT scan to look at that? I'm
Right.
sure nothing has changed, and if it's changed, it's the one that can grow.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem. What are you sending me off for another CT scan? I think the only reason he did it is the doctor did the CT scan and said, I recommend another CT scan in a year. And so he just saw that and then sent me a note about it. And that was it, you know. And but rather than say, hey, go back in another year. Don't go back now.
Yeah.
He just goes, oh, well, that's what the doctor wanted. Of course, the CT scan person wanted me to do another one in a year because that's another CT scan.
Right. In fact, what's the joke about an oncologist?
Yeah.
What is it? A stage 4 cancer patient will send your kid to Yale.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, I mean, I don't, and I feel sorry for doctors now because they're not getting what they should be paid in a lot of cases.
There's so many restrictions on them, like certain things. Well, the whole OxyContin debacle really put a lot of restrictions on other things.
Yeah, but forget about
the
restrictions. I feel sorry for them because if you look at what they get paid by Medicare, it's nothing. It's
really?
Nothing. Nobody's gotten rich off of my cancers.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my cancers is they're just waiting and watching. They're just looking at it. They're not. No, they just give me blood tests twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
My latest doctor wants to do a blood. My doctor I'm going to tomorrow, my GP wants to do another blood test. I said, I'll just have them send you over the ones they did this year.
Very good.
Yeah,
I think blood tests, I can see the value in. They can tell so much. They can tell, like if I went in today, they could tell me if I was pregnant. It's not likely because of my age, but they can tell so much from a blood test and little things. Like I have magnesium. My magnesium is chronically low, and that takes away your energy, the way your body functions, your metabolic.
Mm-hmm. You want the one that panics every one of my doctors, except for one. My urine test. It always comes up with blood in it.
Ooh.
Oh, wait a minute.
You don't have blood.
But they do the dipstick. And the dipstick, for some reason, with my urine goes, you got blood. But the only doctor that has gone beyond the dipstick was my urologist, who then put it under a microscope and could not find blood.
Wow.
So
this is prop blood.
So it's something about the dipstick that's wrong.
Oh.
That it reacts differently to my system or whatever, and says, "Oh, you've got blood in your urine."
That sounds like a 60-minute expose.
Yeah.
The dipstick scandal.
Well, it's better than having urine in my blood.
Or in your mouth.
But anyway, so every time that comes up, every time they do a urine test, which they'll do again tomorrow, they'll want to, and I'm going to tell them no.
Ixnay on the urine.
Well, I get my urine tested by my urologist, okay? And he looks at it under a microscope, and he says, fine. He also is in charge of my PSA test, which checks for the prostate.
Okay, the markers, right?
And cancer perhaps returning or whatever. So far, my PSA is almost negligible. It's non-available.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just there isn't any. So I don't need to go have my doctor tomorrow do either of those tests. And the blood test he doesn't have to do because they do the blood test over at my, I say I'm a little out of sync here, so let me just...
fix it.
Fix it. Well, you see, folks, you see how we're out of sync here? Okay. Watch my lips, okay? Now if I do this,
luscious
we're
lips.
just fine. See?
See how easily that was remedied?
I go to another thing altogether. I don't know how long we were out of sync because I wasn't looking over there.
Yeah, I got to say, I didn't know this, but I was looking at your face. Yeah. I was looking at your face for expression.
You were looking at my face. Okay.
Yes.
Wait, no, you can't see it.
No.
You see,
But our TV does it, so maybe I'm just inured to it.
Oh, really? Oh, your TV does it? Okay. Well, now I can go back. I've cleaned it up. Okay.
And we got a fancy new TV. It has about 500 channels, and I'm still learning to work it.
Wait a minute. Why does it have 500 channels? Do you subscribe to? You have a cable system that brings all those channels in, right?
We do.
Yeah.
And it takes so long to learn it. I'm just
okay. Let me give you a little hint. I did away with all of them.
All of them?
I did away with my cable.
Yeah.
I just get my internet. I get my I have a fast internet feed, and I use the internet, and then I subscribe to all the things I want.
Okay,
Plus,
that's what we do.
Plus,
Yeah.
plus, there's a service we go to, which is Hulu, and it carries about 100 channels.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
and that's it, as opposed to the 500.
Which is overwhelming.
And how many of them do you watch?
3.
Three. Okay.
We're friends and neighbors.
So isn't it better that you just subscribe to what you want?
Yes.
So all I have here, I cut the cord, did away with the cable. The only thing I use on the cable is I have a really fast internet feed. Okay, and then from there on in, I'm cool to go.
Sometimes I swear, man, I could be contented just watching what's available, the scroll, all day.
I'd go down to YouTube and just watch whatever's on YouTube.
Yeah, we have that. That is interesting. Especially, I like how YouTube, if you watch something, punch in your interests and search, then it gives you other things that might be interesting to you, and you can kind of hop around.
Are you using anything like a Roku or a Apple TV or whatever?
We are using something, but I'll ask Ricky. He knows all the ins and outs.
Because if you use Apple, if you use what do you call it?
We have Apple TV.
Or Roku. Roku. We have a Gabnet Roku channel, so you could watch your interviews.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
That pretty much rocks.
And if you can somehow get YouTube, the same thing is true. You can go to just type in Alex Bennett's Ramble.
Okay.
Or Alex Bennett, and it will give you your choices, and you can bring in all those apps.
Oh, that's fun.
But you can on YouTube. You can just find it on YouTube.
Okay.
And then you make it a favorite, and you can go there every time you want to see how you looked.
Yeah. See, you can size up your persona on the tiny screen.
So basically, you look like you're back to normal.
That is the goal, and that is the goal. And I have been walking like 2 hours a day, which I think helps. And just trying to do everything right, eating lots of protein, and just trying every day to say, what can I do to get better?
Yeah, I'm going out today, and I'm planning on crawling for about an hour.
You have little mittens,
I just can't. I can walk, but I can't walk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, see, when the confidence in walking, I've fallen a bunch when I had that low sodium thing, fainted all the time. But it's the confidence in your walk that when that's gone,
I've lost the I'm afraid of falling.
Yeah, I'm
afraid of falling.
Yeah, I'm hoping it will take away that.
But you're how old now?
65.
Okay, so you're 20 years younger than me, you punk.
Oh yeah, I'm a punk ass.
Yeah.
But that's that's why I just try to do everything I can today.
Please say you'll come to my funeral, because I don't.
I totally will.
I don't think anybody will come.
Oh, I'll come. I promise you.
I don't plan on being there, by the way. So
no, no, but Ben, I will. I mean, you made the short list a long time ago, but especially since we've reconnected, you are definitely.
Yeah.
And I found out another friend, a very, very dear friend.
Oh boy,
who was 94.
Oh, okay.
Died today. God rest in peace, Veg. She was interesting.
Yeah, but 80. How old?
94.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, so it's tempered.
There's another parking space available for you.
Thanks. He didn't mean it, Veg. But her family. I mean, I think about all the good things she brought to my life.
My mother. Yeah, but how much did you grieve about that? By the way, we're starting to come towards the end, but I may let us run over because screw everybody. Anyway.
I'm grieving today. I just found out this morning.
What?
And about my friend Veg. Yeah. And she introduced me to her children. I have good relationships with
her. Okay, but let me ask you this. She's 94 when she dies.
Yeah.
What kind of grieving do you have about that?
See, that's interesting. You expect it, but it still surprises you. I mean, I know Betty's 94. I'm going to get the call any day now. And then still when you get it, it's just, oh man.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying, but like when my mother died at 100 and a half, I just went, okay, I'll get a plane and come out for the funeral. What a pain in the ass this is.
Oh, right.
Because what if I start crying and moaning about it? I had it for 100+ years, for crying out loud.
It would come off as ingenuous, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be ingenuous.
I often describe my mother as too stupid to live, too stupid to die. You know, I mean.
Well, I'm sure that aided her last years, knowing her
Yeah.
son felt that
Well,
way.
how would you like to be the Pope and know the last person you saw was J.D. Vance?
I know. We think that's what put him in the ground.
I think he killed him.
Yeah.
I think he killed him.
One of those like spy tricks, you know, with a syringe to the rib cage.
Yeah.
I know. I've wondered about that coincidence.
Yeah. Last time you were looking a little thinner, but now you look fine. You look,
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. You lose weight in the cancer, and you're like, oh, I can gain weight, and then you're like, I'm just trying not to balloon up. Sure, I'll have a third.
No, but you're
helping of
looking
banana,
healthy and you're looking good. Maybe it's because you're outside and the trees are in bloom and whatever,
And
But it's
karma, man.
wonderful to see you, my dear, and see you.
All through when I was going through the treatment, I thought we will be. I'll be talking.
I've had, as I say, I've had a lot of people die in my life recently. I miss Shecky most of all. You know. And I miss a few others. I miss Christy, but I never saw her that much in later years. So what's to miss? I'm just sorry that she died at 59, something like that.
Yeah, she
very,
was
very young.
Yeah,
very young.
Yeah, and she was just. Her husband sent 2 pictures taken when she and I were at Live 105 that I just adore, and I had no idea what had happened to the pictures. It was before cell phones. And so that I just treasure every time I look at it.
We had a picture of you and Christy and me for some stickers they made for Live 105.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I have a photo. I have a copy of it here. And let's see. Christy is choking me.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
And I have a bad perm. Yeah. A bad perm.
Well, no, you were really curly then.
I was.
Yeah, you were really curly.
I know. I got so much grief about that. It looked like a poodle.
And I've shown it to Marjorie, and she went, Lori looks cute. You were described as cute.
I was.
And she said, but boy, Christy was gorgeous.
Oh, my gosh, that girl was a knockout. There's a picture of you and I and she taken at Fort Point where she looks like one of those on a Viking ship. One of those went on a Viking ship because she had, she was well endowed.
She had it all.
She did. And she was so wonderful.
And guys would come up to me and go, boy, she is something. And I go, yeah, I know. He says, would she have anything to do with me? And I said, probably not.
No.
I said, she's very choosy.
Yeah. Oh, she is. And she was monogamous. I mean, she chose a guy.
Yeah.
She used to always say, I make a better steady than a girlfriend. Yeah. I'm not, she wasn't a casual girlfriend. She stuck with a guy.
She stuck with a guy. She absolutely did. She was wonderful. I on a certain level, I miss her, but how do you miss somebody you didn't see for a while?
That's it. It's a different kind, but it's still genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I saw Shecky all the time. I see you all the time. And I was just constantly worried about for you.
Well, and I felt your concern and your encouragement.
You know what my major concern was? Let me say this, folks. We're going to run over, and I don't care because I love this woman.
He's cavalier, Bennett.
I love this woman. There are only 2 women in this whole world I love, and it's her, and it's Marjorie.
I'm in good company.
Yeah. And I have to say it's Marjorie first, otherwise she'll hit me over the head. Anyway, it's just that you don't want to see people that you love go through what you went through. And I worried somewhat about Florida doctoring, okay? That if you were in New York, they might have handled it differently.
This is true.
They might have been more careful before they did anything. They would maybe take a wait and watch kind of thing and check all your vitals and your blood test, make sure the cancer hadn't spread before they would go to chemotherapy.
Yeah.
You know.
And there are some people who refuse it, and I always said I would. And then when you hear the diagnosis, you want to just get it on it like yesterday.
Yeah. But it
So
might have been down there. It might have been overkill. I'm not saying they're bad doctors, but I'm saying they're not specialists like up here.
I agree with you. Yeah.
And I don't know that it might have not gone through an easier kind of deal. So I worried about Florida science. You know?
Yeah, Florida butchering.
Yeah,
I really liked my two doctors.
I'm sure they were great doctors.
Yeah, but that's
they
what
they still don't have the expertise that some of these guys have here. Yeah,
yeah.
Anyway, hey, listen, we got to go here. Otherwise, people are going to be real mad at me.
Okay, we don't want that.
But I don't care. But I just want to tell you how much I love you, and I hope we'll see you next week.
Oh, definitely. And I love you, Ben, so much. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Lawrence Thompson. Bye.
Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yes, and that was Lori Thompson, and we just, we adore her, and she will be on again next week, and she looks better and better and better and better, better and better and better and better. She's looking great. So we're happy that she's healthy. Okay, let's see here. It's time to go to our people out here. There aren't very many. We just have Josh Wheeler and Jeffrey Stein. And somebody else coming in here? No, just me. There he is. There is Josh. Again, we have allergies here in New York. How are they up where you are, Jeff?
I am halfway between Connecticut.
Oh, you're not in
Florida.
Connecticut yet. I keep thinking you're in Connecticut.
Well, I'm flying. I'm going from vacation to stop by Pam's sisters.
Oh, really? No, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got stops.
Okay. All right. So you're where right now? Exactly.
We're in Connecticut.
You're in Connecticut.
No,
where are you?
we're in Tampa.
Oh, well, I think that's different than
Florida.
Connecticut.
No, that's
So you're still in Tampa.
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So when are you leaving? When are you coming back up here?
Oh, I think a week and a half.
A week and a half. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we'll get to see you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, don't take your time getting up here. It's getting warmer. It's getting nicer. We're getting spring here finally. Just about in time for summer to arrive, But
I know.
anyway, it's amazing. Hello to our good friend Josh Wheeler. Hello, Josh.
Hello.
How's it going down there where you live?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Yeah, is it good?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, good. I'm having a little coffee here. I have my yearly doctor's appointment, and they said, don't drink anything after midnight. So what time is it? 11. Okay, fine. Boy, there's somebody trying to get in here tonight, and I don't trust them at all. I wouldn't. No, I can't trust them. C.S. Van.
Nah.
That doesn't make much sense, does it? Okay, well,
I don't recognize.
C.S. Van, if you want me to put you on, go to the what do you call it? The chat room, and then tell me who you are, okay? And if you do, then I'll let you in, okay? But he's not going to, so I'm not gonna, I'll just let him sit there and wait and wait and wait. Anyway,
Correct.
welcome everybody. This is, boy, where is everybody tonight? It's like, It's
I don't
it's
know.
like deader than a doornail. Wow. Oh
Nothing,
well. Yeah.
nothing tonight I'm aware of.
Huh? No,
Nothing going on tonight I'm aware of.
no. Maybe it's just because of what's going on in Washington. Nobody can afford to call in. You know. So,
That's possible.
boy, I'm telling you. Did you see? I'll tell you what the most. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Is his name? What's his name? Terry McGowan. McGowan. His last name is McGowan. He's a reporter for ABC, and he went in because Trump granted ABC an interview.
Yeah.
So the guy goes in, and one of the questions he asks him is about this guy, who was sent down to the San Salvador or El Salvador prison, right? And of course, Trump doubles down and says, well, we all know he was a member of MS-13. And he said, well, how do you know that? And he said, well, he had his knuckles, had some pictures on his knuckles, and MS-13, which is a gang, was listed there on his knuckles. And Moran went, well, that isn't exactly true. And he says, no, you can look at it right on the knuckles. It says MS-13. So they show the picture. And what it is, it's the knuckles with a picture of like a marijuana leaf, and I don't know, there's something else on the second finger, and none of them in any way spell out MS-13. You know what spelled MS-13? The fact that they had photoshopped the letters MS-13 on the photograph. And when it was pointed out to Trump that this was photoshopped, he went, no, that's not true. And he doubled down. He wouldn't admit that, and you can look at it, it's like print, MS-13. Have you seen this at all?
Yeah, I do.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, have you seen that picture?
I did see it, on the news, and I think I saw a picture of Trump holding it up or something like that in the Oval Office. I mean, it's kind of gone to a point where the president of the United States is so stupid, and the people that are around him are so stupid, and they're treating the American people like we're all also stupid, that the president can literally sit in the Oval Office and hold up a photoshopped picture of someone and make a false accusation and just act like it's normal.
Well, they even had a photograph of him when he was arrested, and they show those knuckles. And of course, they don't say MS-13 because it's just a font that's been written over each of the knuckles.
If the individual is some sort of gang guy or whatever, I mean then fine. I don't have some big sympathy for him or whatever, but the point is, and it has to be this way to protect people all over the country, including myself, including you, including everybody else. If he really is this gang guy and this criminal, that's fine. Bring him to a court and go in front of a judge and lay out the evidence, and then let a judge or whatever say, okay, you've proven to me that he is what you say, and I order him to be deported or whatever. And if that were the case closed, right?
In fact,
But
one of the
that's
reasons
not
he
the
left
case.
El Salvador was his life was in danger. He was being threatened by the gangs down there.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the situation, but I know that it would not be uncommon or unheard of for a person in those situations to acquiesce, if we will say, to certain demands and certain things to stay alive or safe for as long as they could until they got themselves in a better situation. So in other words, I mean, if you were getting pressured to, get a certain tattoo or get your ass beat, you might get along for a while, right? You know?
Well, one of the pictures on one of his knuckles is a marijuana leaf.
Yeah, all right.
I guess that was the M in MS-13. I guess that's
I'm
marijuana.
not sure, but yeah, it is weird, that
Well, wait a minute, I got to. I don't have you guys over here. There we go. I just did that. Yeah.
I was
Anyway.
just going to say that.
Oh well, the people who are listening to the audio don't know the difference. So
yeah.
Anyway, where were we? Yeah.
Well, the guy who was the interviewer, he got yelled at by Trump.
Oh, everybody gets yelled at Donald Trump who doesn't agree with him. He's a bully.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, it was like, I never heard of you. Well, then why'd you invite the guy in? Or if you never heard of him, didn't you ask your people who he was, and now you know who he is? I mean, this is getting just bizarre, okay? And what do we do about it? It's terrible, terrible. And we got another, how many days left of this?
A lot.
300 days or something?
Like 1,300.
1,300? Is it 1,300?
Oh, it's something like that.
Got to be around 1,000,
6, 9, 12, 12, 14, yeah, somewhere around there.
No, really? Oh, God.
It's only been 100. Seems like 1,300.
Yeah, well, how are we? Oh, God.
Or more.
What can he manage?
Did you hear the cabinet today?
That cabinet meeting was wonderful.
Meeting?
It was called, now who's going to suck up and suck me next?
Okay, we're going to go around the table, and each one of you tell me how good I am.
And they're all doing things like, you're the most wonderful president that ever existed on the face of the earth.
I sat there and I went, this is a corporate meeting with a bunch of managers hitting around. And the boss is sitting at the middle of the table.
And they don't want to get fired.
Going around, and they're just going, oh, you're so great what you're doing. This is because of you, we are doing this. Because of you, Mr. President, because of you. And I love it with Pam Bondi. She calls him president. Yes, president. She doesn't say Mr. President. She doesn't say President Trump. She says president.
Mm-hmm.
I go, it's just odd. And the whole thing is just a suck job all the way around the table, and he just sits there and eats it up.
Well, here is the reason why Donald Trump was a failure at business, okay? Is that you have to be willing to listen to people and encourage people to disagree with you, okay? Mm-hmm. Because that makes you better, and nobody should be afraid in a company to, literally put somebody down, say to the boss, hey, you're wrong. This would be a bad thing for you to do. And then the boss listens to you and goes, you might be right, Bob. Okay, let me think about that for a while.
The way I used to do it.
Yeah. I mean, but that's why he was terrible at business. Okay? Because he just let people,
Terrible?
If they sucked him up, that was fine, But he was a failure at business. And he was a failure at business because he couldn't manage it.
Apparently, the country's being bathed in gold right now. There's nothing wrong.
Oh, by the
I don't
way,
know what you're talking about?
did you see what he's done to that Oval Office?
Yeah.
It's almost like King Midas showed up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, and then he just throws numbers all over the place, and it's like, okay, where'd you get that one? Where'd you get that one?
Well,
trillions and trillions and billions and billions.
He said they're negotiating with 200 countries. There were only 180 of them.
It's supposed to be only 17 from what I've heard.
Well, I mean, that he's talked to, maybe. But there,
Sure, you
there,
can pick up the phone and go,
there,
hi, how you
only
doing? See you later.
100, there are only 180 countries in the whole world.
Right?
Okay,
Well, you're not including the little islands with the penguins on them.
with the penguins on them. Yeah, no, well, I think he included them. Yeah, and he probably thought Turks and Caicos were two different countries.
Sure.
You know, but anyway, it's just
And the Riviera of Palestine?
yeah, the Riviera of Palestine. I mean, it's just come on. I can't stand it anymore. Do I have to even pay attention? You know what I
This
did?
shit's going to go on for a long, long time, Alex. I'm sorry, but it's going on for a long
If you
freaking
want, do you want to watch a news network that really doesn't take sides, simply seems to report the news, and then discusses the news, but only the facts that exist? I mean, if Trump does something bad, they will mention it. But it's CBS 24/7. Has anybody watched this?
I've seen it.
If you get a chance, it's very good. I found that they had Major Garrett is emceeing a show at 5 o'clock every night called You Decide. And it's one of the best newscasts I've seen. You know? I was so happy to get away from MSNBC, which Marjorie watches all the time, because that's just rotting a hole in my brain. You know? But CBS seems to have come up with the way of doing news, and it's news. You know, you're getting some information. And that's what I want. Anyway, so that's the big deal today. So
Oh,
anyway,
my daughter, I just got to notice my daughter made the dean's list last semester.
did she really?
Yeah.
Now, what is the dean's list exactly?
I have no freaking idea. But
Okay, well, she made it anyway.
Yeah, there's a list of people on
A
here.
list of people who were like the smartest in the school or whatever, the most
That's
accomplished.
fine. Don't waste my damn money.
She obviously isn't, my friend.
Usually the 10% best.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, how much is it costing you to send her to college?
Don't ask.
Every
Don't ask.
just one semester. Just
One semester. Let's see. Our last bill was about $14,000.
oh, really? Oh, that sounds cheap. You must be sending her to an inexpensive school.
No, wait, no. Am I right? No, it's about 60 a year.
About 60 a year. Now, have you been
We
saving?
figure we'll do $250,000 by the time it's over.
Now, have you been? Have you been saving up for this? How do you handle this?
Since I've started working in 1978, yes, I've been saving up for it.
Okay. All right.
Kind of for me, but I never used it, so it's going to her.
Yeah. Yeah. And
then, you know.
so this is the month. This is actually pretty expensive.
It is.
You know?
It is. That's why one of the other reasons we're trying to move to Oregon as soon as we can, because we can knock 16 to 20 grand off it for non-resident.
Oh, so if you're a resident there,
Yes.
okay. All right. That makes sense.
She's got a couple little scholarships, but you know, that the when they gave her, UVO gave her that when she got there. And I think that was 15 grand, and they split it over however many years or whatever.
Wow. Wow. Oh, good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Just seen it. Right
Yeah,
now.
and did she get any kind
It's
of
breaking news.
Did she get any kind of assistance at all?
No,
No.
just the scholarship and
Well, I'm saying
Her parents.
scholarship.
and her parents. Yeah, but it's a small scholarship. It's one that they invited her to go there, and said, "Here, we'll pay this much each year over the 4 years." So
Here comes Charlie Wallace.
it helps. I mean,
Okay.
a little bit helps.
Charlie Wallace has somebody that he sent through school, I'm sure, but we haven't seen his face yet, so we'll wait until we see his face.
Careful.
No, it's okay. This is going to be Charlie Wallace.
It's
I'm
me.
sure.
Oh no!
It's
Look at
me.
him.
Boy, he never goes home anymore, does he?
Just don't lift your shirt.
Doesn't go home at all.
Good for you, Charlie. Good for you.
What?
This is home.
This is home.
There you go. You devil, you.
Hey, it might be. It might be soon. You know, that's nice. It's very nice. You're and you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you can say that.
Yeah. But don't marry her, and I'll tell you why. Because then it won't. Because if you don't marry her, it won't end in divorce. Okay. So. Now nobody here has been divorced. You've never been divorced, have you, Josh?
No.
Have you been divorced, Jeff? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And you've been divorced too, Kevin. I didn't realize that.
First one was 18 years.
First one was 18 years. It's longer than any of mine, you know. You've been divorced, Charlie? No.
Twice.
Twice?
Twice, yeah.
Oh, really? You're trying to catch up to me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little ways to go.
Yeah. So, and did you have to pay any alimony at any point?
No, Texas is not an alimony state, so no, I didn't have to.
Knew I should have moved.
What do you mean it's not an alimony state? You mean nobody can sue anybody for alimony?
Texas is not an alimony state.
So what? You can dump somebody and not have to owe them a single penny?
You have to pay child support if you got kids.
Oh,
I
okay.
paid that for
The
20-something years.
Yeah. Well, okay. But all your marriages were Texas?
Yeah. All my exes live in Texas.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds like a country song.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How about you? And you were married once before, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
And how long?
18 years.
18 years. And they've been married this time how long?
25 as of this
Oh,
year.
boy. You got some
Wow.
long-lasting ones. Okay.
Yeah, I grind them down there.
Let's see. My first one lasted a year. My second one to Ronnie lasted, I don't know. It lasted about 10 years. I mean, we were separated for a great amount of that time, but it lasted 10 years. And then my next wife, it lasted another 10, but only because I didn't go out and get a divorce immediately, and I kept supporting her. But it's a whole long story I don't want to go into because she's still alive, okay? But she had problems. She had serious problems. And I kind of supported her because I was making good money, and I figured, what does it cost to pay her rent, and do a few things like that so that she can at least have a decent life, But she had really big drug problems. And I supported her through that. And when we got the divorce, the judge in San Francisco said to me, and I'm going to give her absolutely no alimony whatsoever. And then she looked at me and said, and Alex, if you pay her a single penny more than you already have because you've been very good to her, I just am telling you, don't pay for this. You're only enabling her. And so I felt really good about that because the judge saw the worth in how I was and how I reacted and all of that. Yeah. So, but it was sad. It was kind of sad, She was such a brilliant, she was very, very smart, very beautiful woman, and the drugs just really took their toll, brain-wise and looks-wise. So I never talk about that marriage very much, though. Mainly because she's still around, So
I've been listening to the show. It's been good.
Yeah.
I just haven't been able to get in.
Why?
I don't know. It says the host has started the show and you're in the waiting room.
Well,
and one time I got kicked out, but I figured
wait a minute. Did you sign in?
CVS?
What name did you try to sign in as?
Well, what happened is there's a Zoom problem, I guess. I could send you the email that a malware byte sent out, and it said take Zoom off your computer and just see Zoom through your browser. Well, I didn't realize I had to sign back in on the browser.
Well, you were signing in as CAVN or something like that, and I didn't
Okay.
want to answer that because
No problem.
You know what
No
happens
problem.
when I do that.
It's my fault because I haven't had to sign into Zoom in like 4 years, so I'm okay.
What do you mean you haven't had to sign into Zoom in 4 years?
I don't sign in. It keeps me logged in.
What do you mean you don't have to sign in?
Well,
Every
they
time
want
you
your
open it.
name and email address, so it puts my Alan W up there.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Yeah.
getting very mixed up here. I don't know.
Let's not worry about it. I'm here.
No, I'm worried about it that you're here.
Well, yeah. Oh,
He's
okay.
gonna drop his pants in a minute.
Yeah.
No, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, suddenly
I
you
don't think
become a
anybody
black
wants-
guy jerking off. Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
think it's gonna look like this here. So
Yeah.
anyhow,
Anyway, we were talking earlier about Trump and this picture of the guy, if you see the picture, you can probably go online and find it. It's photoshopped.
Yeah.
And probably what they were trying to say to him was, well, this is what this means M, because it was marijuana, and maybe this means S, and this means 1, and this means 3. But he thought it was written on the guy's knuckles. Amazing. Just amazing. God, I just, one thing I hate in this world is stupidity. And
Liars.
Yeah.
that secondarily, but stupidity is prime on my list, all right? And look at him. I mean, he's as stupid as they come. And then he lies. And and yet his people still are sticking with him. And then of course that group of people holding that cabinet meeting today was just what can I call it?
He isn't changing his MO at all. Every time he goes and has a rally just to keep himself exercised. I mean, the rally back in Michigan was like he was still 2 months out from the election day.
Oh yeah, he did his little dance and everything.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
he's pissed. The tariffs have stopped his golf cart wheels from coming in.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear.
He did it.
yeah, he did.
Well, the thing is, I'm trying to think about him and oh yeah, whenever I hear him speak, whenever I hear him give a lecture about the economy and so on, I keep betting with Marjorie, how long is it going to be before he mentions Biden?
Every 7 words or something like
Yep.
that. Isn't it?
Every time he needs an excuse why something isn't going his way, it's Biden's fault.
And he primed it today by saying it's probably the next quarter too that's going to be his fault.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that on the news. Yeah.
Oh, really? He primed it that way?
Mm-hmm.
How long does he get this free ride here?
As long as he wants.
Yeah.
He's still blaming Obama for stuff.
Probably
You're
2 years,
right.
3 years.
You're right. You're right. Well,
Okay.
couldn't we blame the first Trump administration on what's happening now?
Absolutely.
He'd blame George Washington if he could.
Boy.
Oh, give him some time. He'll get around to figuring out who he was.
And then I saw some interviews with some people in Michigan, and they asked them, well, what do you think? Well, Biden would ruin this country. He was too old to run it. Wait a minute, he was only 2 years older than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just what bothers me most of all is that the topic of conversation every time we do a discussion here is Donald Trump. Every time you tune in MSNBC, it's Donald Trump. I mean, luckily I went over to CBS 24/7 and I saw some stories I didn't even know existed. Okay? And they're important stories. I mean, one we had the big story we had up here was a story about what is it? What's the? Oh, I'm trying to think of what the game the thing is you play with these netted.
Soccer?
No, not soccer.
I know.
Field hockey or
No.
cross?
Lacrosse. Lacrosse team from a high school up north from here, who took some guys out to the woods and initiated them by sticking a gun in their face and then putting a hood over them and a few things like that. And then they drove them back to the city. Nobody got hurt, but everybody's really mad about this, saying that it could have turned into something terrible. Well, the only thing, and I had an argument with Marjorie about this, she said, that's terrible. And I said, yeah, but nobody got hurt.
Well,
And now they're trying to they're going to hit these kids with like a misdemeanor or something like that. And I'm saying to her, nobody got hurt.
he was traumatized.
And then she said to me, somebody could have. And I went, nobody got hurt. Yeah, somebody could have. That's true. But nobody did. So where is the crime here? I don't know.
Kidnapping?
Well, they claim that had something to do with it because they took the kid, they put this one kid, the other 5 kids they didn't do this to, but this one, they put a hood over his head and tied his hands behind his back and threw him in the trunk of a car.
And this was supposed to be for what reason?
Initiation.
To
Hazing.
Oh, hazing. Okay. For like a college or something?
No, high school. A high school lacrosse team.
To haze for. I don't know. That sounds like kidnapping to me too.
Well, it sounds
aggravated assault and a few other things.
It sounds like kid tomfoolery to me. I mean,
if that gun was loaded and accidentally went off.
Well, who knows? I don't think it was loaded. It may not even been a real gun. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. They didn't charge them with the gun or anything like that. So.
And if he had a hood on his face, he might not have seen the gun.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's a case of it's terrible what they did, and they shouldn't get away without some kind of penalty, shall we say? Either
They'll make them vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, either that or the school is thinking of, they're not letting the lacrosse team play this year. But that was the other story that was a non-Trump story that might have been worth talking about. I don't know, And there were a couple of other stories. I'm trying to remember what they were now, but there's a lot of them happening, and there are a lot of things happening that have nothing to do with Trump. And all we ever hear when you go to Fox, when you go to MSNBC, when you go to CNN is Trump, 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 Trump.
I don't know. Musk was on, and he claims that Doge saved $220 billion. I think that's a bunch of BS. And at what cost? At the cost of 100,000 lives that have lost their jobs in the government unnecessarily.
Well, it might have lost, might have gained the government something like 13 billion, but they're even doubting that.
Right. Yeah, but look at the losses to the people that lost their jobs. Now, I'm sure some of them were lowlifes and weren't doing their job, but I think they were saying in Mississippi there's only 13 Social Security offices still open.
Let me just ask you this trivia question, okay? How many people, what percentage of the people that are hired by the federal government in federal jobs are a percentage of the American population?
Ooh.
It's less than 1%.
No, it's 2%.
Really?
2%.
I
Wow.
thought there were 2 million
You-
federal
you-
workers.
You know, if you got rid of all the federal workers,
Hmm.
you wouldn't hit 2%. You know? So, I
Wow.
mean, what good is it firing them? You know, I mean, you might go through them and say to all the people in the basic divisions of the parts of the government, hey, look through all your people and see which ones are doing competent jobs and those that aren't, get rid of. You know, let's like,
It's called management.
it's called management. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's just, but you don't say, you just don't go in and say, we're going to let go of 10,000 people in this department and then just let 10,000 people go who've been doing good jobs. On the Daily Show, they were interviewing some people who had jobs and were let go who were doing incredibly important jobs. You know? So I don't know. What do you think? Let's go to Josh. What do you think, Josh?
Well, it's not the way to do it, but I think that's the way to do it if you don't believe in the purpose of those people to begin with. I mean, I think you fire everybody if you don't believe in the reason for them to exist.
Well, I think
I mean,
yeah.
you know, if you fire everybody at the Veterans Administration that helps veterans, if you don't care about or like veterans, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, so you know,
Oh, I think he clearly doesn't like veterans.
right? I mean, what does Elon Musk care about veterans? He doesn't.
No, he doesn't care about them
He
either.
doesn't care.
You know, what does he care about people who don't have money?
Right.
Of course,
He
he'll
doesn't.
find
He's a
out soon when he
fascist
doesn't
pig, so
have
why would
any.
he care about any of that?
Well, he'll find out soon when he doesn't have any left.
Yeah, good. I can't wait for the day.
Yeah, well, he's down. Let's see here. He's under 200 bill. He's under 300 billion now. It's about 290 billion, and he's losing every day.
Yep.
That's why he quit to go back to his, you know, his companies, and I'm happy to see it. You know, I hope he loses everything he ever made. You
Me
know?
too.
Yeah,
Me too.
I mean, because of what he's done to other people.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You know.
Hmm.
Yeah. What are you looking at there, Alan?
I'm sorry. Yeah, just a text.
Oh, a text.
Through
Okay.
that's got font that's about half the size of the regular font.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
And is it from anybody important?
No, I'll send you a picture of it. Actually, it's some kind of stupid joke.
A stupid joke?
Although it has to do with cat food, you might like it.
It has to do with cat food, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anybody seen any good movies lately? I'm trying to lighten up the subject matter here. Okay, well, then you guys don't go to the movies. I don't go to the movies
Nope.
either. Nobody goes to the movies anymore.
Nope.
Nope.
You know, it used to be that movies, when people were going to movie theaters, when a movie came out and it was a big movie, it could make 300 million on its first weekend. 300 million on its first weekend. Now they're jumping for joy when it makes 75 million. You know, and it's amazing. It is just amazing. The movie business is not doing well at all. Although they had this new picture this weekend, I can't remember now. Well, see, I can't even remember the name of the movie, so how am I going to remember whether I wanted to go see it or not?
This is
another-
like watching Fox News.
Well,
Let me tell you about this great story. Oh, wait a minute. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. No, I'm thinking about
Accountant?
no, not the accountant. No, it's a Marvel film.
No.
You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Happens a lot at our age.
The some things are in others. I can't remember. You can look it up. Yeah, Kevin's looking it up.
Have you found a place to live, Kevin, in Oregon?
Possibly, not sure yet.
You
Are-
went up
are-
last weekend to go see some places, right?
Yeah.
Do you need a temporary place? I have 2 vacancies in an apartment building I own in Portland.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
No, I'm not going up that far. I'm down the lower central end.
Okay, sorry.
Although that'd be nice to know. I may call you one day when we go up that way.
Yeah, sure. I won't go.
Rent
Yeah.
it for the weekend.
Well, let's
Yeah,
try.
yeah, rent it for the weekend. It's not furnished. You have to bring a sleeping bag and a cooler, or maybe your own toilet paper, but I don't know.
My friend lives in
Sounds
Gresham. So.
Oh, okay.
Ah, there's Richard Braun. Hello there, Richard.
Good evening, fellas.
How are you doing?
Okay.
Now, I forget, where are you again? What part of the world?
Virginia.
Virginia.
Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
Thunderbolts? No. Fantastic.
Thunderbolts.
First.
No.
Okay.
Thunderbolts? Yeah. Thunderbolts.
That's May 2nd. Yeah.
Thunderbolts. Yeah. Is it May 2nd that comes out?
That's what it says on
That's
the
Friday,
Marvel site.
Okay. So, anyway.
Now that we've flushed that out of our brains.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that I've not, and I'll probably forget it in 10 minutes, but. You know. Why is it that always seems like a cheap marionette thing?
That's funny because I was at the doctor yesterday and they did the Medicare checkup every year, and she turns around and she goes, after she did this and that and asked me my drugs, and she goes, now I got to ask you I have to do a cognitive test. And I said, oh, good. And she goes, she says, banana, chair, and what was the other? Sunrise. She goes, I'll ask you what they are in a few more minutes. Then she went on to other stuff. And then she's getting ready to leave the room. She goes, okay, what were those 3 words? And I went, shit.
Nope, that wasn't one of them.
I went,
No,
oh, wait,
shit
wait.
wasn't one of
You
them.
didn't tell me I had to remember them.
I did the relation thing and I said, okay, it was banana, sunrise, chair. I had a banana, sunrise, and a chair. That's it. She goes, okay, you're passed.
All right, you did it. Yeah.
I said, that's like the Trump one, only he had like 15 words, didn't he?
Well, they do. They give you what, 3 words?
It was 3 words, but Trump always nailed off like 6 or 7, like he was a Superman with it or something.
I think I probably could have answered that one, and my memory's shot.
The thing is, they tell you, and they say they're going to ask you about it again, and then they go off on other subjects and say, well, what are your meds? What is this? Oh, look, your blood pressure's good. Da, da,
What are your
da.
meds?
This number,
Orange,
as they're walking out.
sunrise,
Chair.
chair. Orange, sunrise, chair. Okay. Ask me what they are in 5 minutes, okay? We got some time left here.
Yeah.
Orange, sunrise,
Yeah.
chair. That would be easy because orange is orange, and a sunrise is orange in color.
Well, see, that's what I did is I related it to a banana sunrise in a chair on a beach.
Banana.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was, see, you already
Oh, was it
screwed up,
banana? I
Alex.
thought you said it was
He already
orange.
forgot.
No, you said orange. I said banana. See, you screwed it up already, Alex. You're done.
Quickly, Jeff, what were they?
I'm glad I remember my own name.
Yeah. That was the other thing I told him.
Banana sunrise chair. Okay.
You're gonna get different ones, Alex. So don't.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. They don't ask them of me.
They don't ask that of me.
My
either.
doctor tomorrow will, to begin with, I told him that I don't want to get a blood test. And I said, if you want my blood test, you can get it from my hematologist. Right? And they said, well, we don't deal with Mount Sinai or something like that. So I said, okay, I'll have them send it to you. Because I don't want to get another blood test. I get 2 blood tests a year. Do I need a 3rd from him? You know?
Should, depending on what they
Yeah.
put it all in one script, everything you need. Then you can just pass it around to everybody. That's what I do.
Is that what you do?
Yeah. I said, make sure you put a PSA on that thing. And he goes, okay.
Yep.
And then I take it to the urologist.
Yep.
Sounded like my what do you call it was going off? My printer. But it
Oh,
wasn't.
that's my printer.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's your printer. Okay, they all sound alike. Anyway,
Not the same printers.
yeah, no, so I just told him, I'm going to tell him, just look at the one that I have there. I mean, it's got a lot of problems with it and everything, but my hematologist said he's not worried about the blood work. Okay, no matter what is off and not right and 100%. And if I said I'll leave it to my hematologist to do that now. And then they say, well, pee in the bottle. And I say, I'm not going to do that either. Because
Not from this far across the room.
No. Pee in the bottle. And I go, no. And they go, why not? And I said, because I go to my urologist once a year. He does this, and he does it more efficiently than you do. Because you're going to take a little stick, put it in there, and see if I have blood in my urine. And it's going to say I got blood in my urine. For some reason, I don't know why that stick never works for me. I said, but my urologist looked at the urine once he saw that under the microscope and didn't see any blood.
That's right. That stick is most labs use that to start with, the little dip stick.
Yeah.
And they're not really accurate. I was for a long time showing protein in my urine, and my doctor tested it at the lab, and there was no protein,
Yeah. So, Anyway, I'm trying to think of what other news there was that I saw, and there really isn't a lot. Anything anybody want to bring up at all?
Israel was under fire or something.
Israel was under fire, or Gaza was under fire from Israel?
I thought they had an actual fire.
Oh, you mean a fire?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was a fire there. There was a fire in Israel. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What did they do? Did they get a fire extinguisher out or what? Is it a big fire or what?
No, I think it was God trying to get even with them. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they had a fire. I remember I saw something about that.
I guess I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what was it caused by? I'm trying to remember what it was caused by. Richard, you know?
No.
Oh, you raised your finger, and I thought you had something to say.
Another topic.
And what did you want to say?
No, I was going back to the political thing because it seems to me that this is like I don't know, more a Steve Bannon sort of government. This is Trump is pushing over the lines, beyond constitutional lines. I don't understand why there aren't grievances here similar to those in the Declaration of Independence against the king, the way this taxation is to give money to the rich. It's like corporations have more power than people. This is government of the people, by the people, for the people, becoming of the corporations, by the corporations, and for the corporations. They're the ones who are getting all the breaks. And it seems to me that they could push it so far that they will create the class of people, the super class, the super rich, who are supposed to be the gods to guide our economy, and also make sure that the AI and the genetics, benefits go to them, because these guys want to live forever. They got all the money in the world, and they want to live forever, and they're pushing to the point that messing up dollar system is not that the dollar,
but at least they're not going to live forever because nobody does.
No,
there's no expiration date on people. Some go early, some go later. It has nothing to do with the money you have.
We're getting to the point that we're advancing the life expectancy by 2 years every year. So eventually it's going to catch up with, they'll be able to make, you'll be outliving your expiration date.
By the way, does anybody know why Elon Musk has that scar on his neck?
Yeah, I noticed that today too.
Yeah. And by the way, did you notice the light wasn't hitting Trump just right and his bald spot was showing?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Am I right? The light was just coming down on him, and all you saw was this bald spot up here.
I got to tell you, that TV station's gone.
Yeah, he's gonna be mad about that.
Mm-mm.
Well, everybody's out to get him. And at this point,
Thank
I don't
God.
agree. I don't disagree with that assumption.
That's right.
You know,
I think it takes, it's going to take mass demonstrations and millions of people outweighing any counter demonstrations in all the states to convince some members of Congress to go another way.
well, you're
That's
going to
all-
have to wait about.
But the Democrats push the issue of impeachment?
I think you're going to have to wait about maybe 6 months to a year when everybody feels the full brunt of all of this. You know, when it comes to Christmas time this year and they can't afford food and they can't afford presents and they can't afford anything, then people are going to start going, okay, I didn't sign up for this.
Just jerking around the markets is creating profit for the financial institutions, for the brokers. They're the only ones that make sure that they're going to get a profit. Everyone else is taking a bet. There's inside information that's going out. The way he got rid of all the IGs, and he's got the Department of Justice doing his political work against his enemies. This is Nixon all over. This is
No,
Nixon.
this isn't
all over
Nixon.
again.
This isn't
Public.
Nixon. Nixon wasn't this bad.
Right.
Nope.
No,
You know, at least Nixon, in spite of it all, did believe in the democracy. You know, he just tried to get away with a few things. But Trump has no respect for the democracy at all. You know
I wonder why the Supreme Court hasn't issued a warrant for his arrest.
what?
They ordered him to return this Garcia guy from wherever.
Because these courts, including the Supreme Court, don't have any power. You know, I heard Trump today say, "Well, if they want me to do something, I'm not going to. If the courts want me to do it, I'm not going to do it."
That's until they force it.
Okay, now how are they going to enforce it?
I don't know. Supreme Court could have U.S. Marshals go after him. I don't know. I don't know. The Supreme Court could ask the U.S. Marshals to go after him. Congress, yeah.
But Congress is run by the Republicans.
I'm with Alex and Richard. I think in the 2026 midterms, a lot of people are going to vote Democrat, and if they can get 60% in the House and 60% in the Senate, they can impeach him on day one.
Yeah, they can do anything they want to, but right now he's safe. There's nobody there to get him.
Twice before. What the hell's that going to do?
Well, but this time
he could be convicted.
This time he can.
When history looks back on it, they're going
Why?
to say,
How?
"What did we do?"
How? The guy's
Because the House brings it up and impeaches him, and then the Senate decides if they're going to kick him out or not. But they need 60% to do it. They didn't have it last time.
They impeached him.
But that's the House. The House does the impeachment.
Well,
the Senate decides what they do.
Did not convict.
I think there's a good chance we could take back the Senate. We could take back the Congress, but I don't know if the Democrats have got it in their DNA to be able to accomplish that.
Yeah, they're afraid to do anything.
Huh?
Yeah.
They're afraid to do anything right now.
because
Go write a stern letter.
yeah, it was like it was like what's his name? Schumer said, "Oh, we're writing him a stern letter." Listen, if he won't listen to the Supreme Court, a stern letter don't mean crap to a tree.
No.
Josh has been a little quiet tonight. Josh, why you been quiet?
Everybody else was having a good talk.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice of you. We'll call us tomorrow night, and we'll let you have the table for about the first hour or something.
Yeah, I do.
You know, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Nice to have Richard Braun here, who joins us occasionally when he does. We're very happy that he does so. Jeff, good to hear from you as always.
Yep.
Josh, lovely and wonderful. That's all I can say. Kevin, same to you. By the way, Charlie, I'm so happy for you. You know, you have no idea how happy I am for you. Alan, I guess I'm happy for you. I don't know what you have to be happy about, but whatever. Anyway, everybody, why don't you give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go. That's our citizen panel for tonight. There's another citizen panel coming right up here on GabNet with Amy Emanuel and the Intersection. She'll be taking your calls also on Zoom. Go to gabnet.net, and at the bottom of the page it says Alex Bennett, it says Amy Emanuel. You click the one that says Amy Emanuel and it'll take you to their Zoom thing. In the meantime, I'll see you again tomorrow. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, you know what to do. Tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.